As you know, from the time Michael went missing, this has been an all-hands-on-deck investigation, and it remains very active and an ongoing investigation. And additional investigative evidence was recovered and is currently being processed. Evidence suggests that the following individuals who are currently in custody are involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughn. This is Stacey Wondra, 35 years old. Sarah lives at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Sarah has firsthand knowledge and is involved in Michael's abduction. Stacey Wondra is currently being held at the Fayette County Jail for failing to report a death to law enforcement. This is Sarah's husband, Stacey Wondra, 30 years old, a male. Stacey was also living at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Stacey has firsthand knowledge and is involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughn. Stacey's currently being held in the Washington County Jail on unrelated charges. Now, the next individuals I'm going to introduce you to, let's go at the bottom there. This is Brandon Shurtliff, 30 years old, of Kuna, Idaho. Brandon was living with Sarah and Stacey Wondra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance, and we believe Brandon has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction. Brandon is currently believed to be in North Dakota. Adrian Lucien, 32-year-old male out of Toledo, Ohio. Adrian was staying with Sarah and Stacey Wondra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance, and we believe that Adrian has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction. Adrian's currently believed to be in Toledo, but floats between Ohio and California.
Woke up and had breakfast and watched TV and coffee, and then we went, me and Sarah and one of her other friends that was there visiting for like a week or so because he came in from the airport. He wanted to go visit his family over by Nampa area somewhere, by the Karcher Mall. And we went and did kind of a YouTube video that day where we were trying to make music and kind of like a car crash scene.
Mm-hmm.
And we were hanging out with him doing that earlier. Sarah took me to lunch over at Popeyes, and she was going to buy a sandwich for me, Adrian, and her, but he said, my family's here, I want to see them, so I'm going to go to Applebee's and go over here and have dinner with them, or lunch with them real quick, and then give me a little bit of time to do that, and then you guys come back and get me. And then after that, me, Adrian, and Sarah went to Applebee's, where we dropped him off there. We're bored, just kind of driving around the mall, and we didn't know what to do, so I drove back over to my house to get a water bottle and fill it up with water to bring back over to their house because I didn't like their water. And then during that time, after that, we came back to the mall and we picked up Adrian, me and Sarah. We just went over to a pawn shop, I think, just kind of look around at the pawn shop a little bit. And then I think he bought like an iPad, or he was trying to get a new iPad, I think.
That's Adrian, right?
Right, yes, sir. And then I think he bought one there. We went to the pawn shop, bought an iPad, and then came back and we were just chilling. And then after that, we went over to Macy's and kind of went in there and shopped around for clothes a little bit. And we were playing on our iPads and just taking pictures, goofing off. And then from there, we go back, and then that's how it goes. We came back over there, and then right as soon as we were getting the car back to the neighborhood, the whole neighborhood was on high alert looking for the little boy, Michael Vaughn, and they said he went missing right that day earlier, right before we came in with the car we were towing.
Yeah. So when did you guys go over there to get your car?
I think it was around like 6 or 7 at night.
6 or 7. Then you're saying while you're coming back, that's when you noticed everyone searching for Michael?
Yes, sir. A Toyota car and drove to the gas station and drove around after we got out of the pickup, and then tried to look in the field to see if he went down by the river.
Searching for Michael?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I remember going to the gas station. We were probably at the gas station filling up like right at 7.
Right at 7. What gas station?
There's the Chevron right there just up from their house.
Brandon's timeline is disorganized and hard to follow. He's vague about important details, often using phrases like "I think," which shows he's not certain about what happened. This lack of clarity makes it challenging to piece together a coherent sequence of events. Additionally, Brandon tends to overly explain things that are unimportant, further complicating his narrative. As a result, understanding Brandon's timeline requires careful attention and scrutiny. We need to sift through his account to separate relevant information from unnecessary details to gain a clearer understanding of Michael's disappearance.
That morning, we got up, did our routine normally. Breakfast, coffee, shit shower, whatever, you know what I mean. Then Adrian had asked Sarah to take him to Nampa or Boise, wherever it was, to go see his kid.
The splash pad. Have you ever been to that splash pad?
Yeah, so on the way out of my taxi ride, I pulled into the splash pad in the Lexus. I had gotten a phone call from Sarah when I left the house. She had asked, she always calls me whenever I leave. She was very insecure about herself, so she always wanted to make sure I wasn't out trying to cheat on her or whatever. Because apparently that's what she thinks that I did to her. I'd stopped at the splash pad because I chewed tobacco. I still chew. And I stopped at the splash pad because my can of chew had fallen on the passenger side of the seat. And I couldn't pull off to the side of the road because there was no room to really park. It was right before the stop sign. And you aren't supposed to park by the stop sign or anywhere near it because you're not supposed to by law.
I didn't remember this, but I went to Ontario again to go. I stopped at A&W. A&W, which is by Kiwani's Park or whatever in Ontario. Went there, got some food, I think, and went back to Fruitland.
Do you remember being on Arizona and 8th Street when you were putting power steering fluid? And I'm not a mechanic, as you know. We talked today about my truck.
I would say probably early 6 o'clock hour, like between 6 and 6:15. Easy.
Hey, hold on. You saw a boy that day as well, didn't you? You said
yes,
you saw a boy.
Further down 8th Street on the very right-hand side in somebody's yard. And he didn't look anything like Michael at any point in time.
Okay.
We didn't ever even approach the kid.
Did the boy you saw have a yellow shirt on?
It was a bright shirt, correct. From what I remember. It was shorts and a bright shirt. And he was a lot taller than the 5-year-old boy. I can tell you that much.
Y'all drove straight over to Brandon's, and that was his mother's house, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, did Brandon have anything with him?
He had his duffel bag full of clothes, but it was small. It wasn't even a huge duffel bag. It was tiny.
Like, what do you consider tiny? Like a book bag size, or big enough to fit?
Take like a small duffel bag, had the little head strap on it, but not near big enough to put any a human in it at all.
Okay, so you're saying there's no way that he could have stuffed a small child in that bag. He just had dirty clothes in the bag.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all get over there about 45 minutes later. What happens when y'all get there? What transpires at that point?
Not to put any a human in it at all.
Okay, so you're saying there's no way that he could have stuffed a small child in that bag. He just had dirty clothes in the bag.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all get over there about 45 minutes later. What happens when y'all get there? What transpires at that point?
Brandon went into the house. He said he was gonna go do some laundry or whatever. He was gonna get some water because, he always told us he didn't like drinking our water at our house, which made no sense because he drank it all the time. Like he would drink lots of it. So,
well, I'm kind of like that too. I don't drink water from places I ain't from. It makes you sick. It'll make you sick. Every time I go and drink water and I'm not from that place, it'll make me sick. I don't know what it is. My body can't take it. If I drink bottled water, I'm okay. I can understand that. So he goes inside to wash clothes. Now, did he wash the clothes that he was wearing?
No, he just didn't change the clothes, but all I know to my knowledge, he just washed the clothes that was washed in his duffel bag.
But he did change the clothes he was wearing, you said?
Yes.
Okay, so he goes in, changes clothes, washes the clothes that's in his duffel bag. Do you or Sarah ever go in the house with him?
No, Sarah and I stayed. I was outside. Sorry.
You're fine.
I was outside hooking the vehicle up to the car.
Okay.
But
Between Kuna and Fruitland, did you guys stop anywhere?
Sarah had to use the restroom, so we stopped. We had took the back road to Fruitland, the old highway from I think it's called Black Canyon Highway, I think. But we had stopped on the Eagle Road. I don't remember what road it was exactly, but we had stopped and pulled over for a second because the tow strap came undone. It snapped because Sarah jolted the truck and snapped the tow strap. So I had to, we had to pull over, and then I had to reattach or tie the tow strap back together. And then Sarah, I think, used the restroom on the side of the road, like she usually did, when we had no access to a restroom. But then that was the only time we had stopped.
At what time do you think you enter 8th Street coming back with the tow?
What time do you think we got back?
Yeah, with the tow from Brandon's house after he washed the clothes and you hooked up everything.
No, it was probably 9:15, 9:30 at night.
9:30 at night. Okay. Mm-hmm. And y'all say so at 9:30 at night, when you enter 8th Street, what do you see? Do you see anything unusual? Is there people in the neighborhood?
When we got back, there was a shit ton of people all over.
All over, just walking around, or what were the people doing? What did you observe?
Police officers, search and rescue, just neighbors, people from the communities. I told Sarah to stop and ask what happened, and because Brandon was steering the vehicle behind us.
So he was actually in the vehicle you were towing?
Yes, because he had to steer it.
Oh, wow. Neighborhood. And you tell Sarah to pull over and ask somebody what's going on. All right, when she pulled up to somebody, what did they say?
They asked them what was going on, and they were like, "Oh, well, a little boy has disappeared."
A little boy has disappeared. Did they say disappeared, or did they say abducted? Do you remember? Can you recall?
So I know I made that mistake in the last video. I'm 99% positive it was disappeared. What was going on, and they told us, and we're like, that's really weird. And I was in the process of trying to get Brandon's car detached from my truck. And Brandon and Sarah had gone and looked for Michael while I was doing that. I offered to go help, and they're like, no, we'll just go out and do it. And I was like, okay. So they took off on foot,
After Stacey's timeline, it's clear that his account is riddled with inconsistencies and alterations. From one interview to the next, Stacey changes his story, adds new details, or conveniently omits crucial information. This inconsistency raises serious questions about the reliability of his testimony and casts doubt on his credibility as a witness. As we delve deeper into Stacey's narrative, it becomes increasingly evident that there may be more to his story than meets the eye. We must scrutinize each variation in his timeline meticulously to uncover the truth about his involvement in Michael's disappearance.
I'm just guessing on the time here. You can correct me, but you're stopping around, maybe, is it like 5:30-ish at this point?
I think we left the house more so like 6.
Okay. So you're stopping the truck at 6:15-ish?
Correct.
6:20?
Correct.
Okay, and you're stopping somewhere outside of your neighborhood a little bit, I
Correct.
assume. So you changed the steering fluid. It's roughly 6:15, 6:20-ish. You drive off with Sarah and Brandon to get the truck.
Get the car.
I'm sorry, the car. What time do you think it is roughly when you exit town?
I don't know. I don't remember. I'd say probably maybe 6:45, 6:50.
It's important to note that as we continue to refine our timeline, we now believe that Michael disappeared in a smaller window of time, and that's probably between the time of 6:40 p.m. and 7 o'clock p.m. on the 27th.
Well, is there anything that you've told the police that isn't quite true?
Not at all.
You haven't lied to the police at all just because you were nervous or scared?
Not one bit. I gave the police and the detectives everything that I could. What I'm telling you guys is what I told the detectives. I was the one that tipped them off. It was a fable. It was not true. And I told them specifically that he was buried in the backyard, which he was never buried. And I know this is going to sound incredibly stupid to you guys, but this is what I told law enforcement because I was so incredibly in an excessive amount of stress and overpressured that I literally just, I didn't know what to do. They kept telling me that, oh yeah, you're guilty. You're the one. You did this. You know everything. No, I don't. And I told them that 100 times. I knew he wasn't there. I knew he wasn't. I knew he wasn't going to be there. I knew he wasn't there. I knew he wasn't. I knew he wasn't going to be there. I knew he wasn't there. I knew he wasn't. I knew he wasn't going to be there. I knew he But that's when I tipped him off and gave him that false tip.
Okay,
well,
well,
I'm so overly pressured, and it sounds absolutely stupid, and I know it does. But I was way too under pressure. I was being interrogated for something I didn't do, and they kept telling me, "Oh, you know where he is. You know where you buried him." No, I don't. I said, but, and then I was like, fine. Then I broke down. I was like, you know what, fine. I made it up 100%, and I told him that he was in the backyard, which I knew he wasn't.
Human cadaver dogs are highly reliable. Why did police tell you that human cadaver dogs pinged on your property at that home?
They didn't really give an explanation. They just said that the dogs had hit around the property. But I mean, there was nothing, I don't even know how that's even feasible because like I said, I've never even heard of this kid. I've never seen this kid, never knew anything about him.
Police said that they believe Michael's body was buried there and then moved. Can you think of any time that his body would have been buried there and then moved? Does anything stand out to you?
Not at all. They were saying that he was buried by the shed. makes absolutely no sense. There's been no dig marks. There's no trench marks. There's nothing. The ground was a complete grassed area.
Could it have happened when you weren't around and it was potentially covered up?
It could have, very possibly. I just know that I wasn't around for any of it. I have no idea. I would like to know what happened to him.
During that excavation process, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue Mountain States detection dogs deployed multiple certified human remains detection dogs on the property, all of them alerting to the presence of human remains.
Cadaver dogs can detect all stages of decomposition. Each dog receives about 1,000 hours of training before they are ready to work. Cadaver dogs can identify crime scenes even if the body has been since moved. These dogs can also distinguish between animal and human decomposition. The concentration of the scent will be highest at the source. The scent will then disperse in what is called a cone. Dogs hone in on the source and find the area that has the highest concentration of the scent. Muriel claims she opened her home up to police when they came knocking. I gave them food and water, prayed with them, and allowed them to run their dogs and people through my house and yard. They did find my toilet was leaking, which I'm grateful for, Muriel said. She claims their cadaver dog smelled the poop outside near her vent and crawl space, which was near her leaking toilet, she said. Public Relations Director Mark Sullivan works for the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, a team that has been very active in the search for Michael. Sullivan consulted with canine experts on his team who told him that, no, cadaver dogs do not alert on human feces. Sullivan said that he's never heard of a canine dog being trained to find feces. Each dog has a very specific reaction that it does when it does what it's trained to do, he said via text message. The untrained human may not know or recognize when a dog alerts its handler. Stacey's multiple slips of the tongue are significant indicators of potential deception. These slips often occur precisely when he mentions critical aspects of his story, suggesting that his subconscious may be revealing truths that his conscious mind is trying to conceal. These Freudian slips cannot be ignored, as they provide valuable insight into Stacey's true thoughts and motivations. By paying close attention to these subtle cues, we can uncover hidden truths and unravel the mystery surrounding Michael's disappearance.
Digs in one spot and digs with both of her paws and throws digs the dirt backwards between her legs. There's a difference between drag marks and or dig marks and shovel marks.
His car back. What do you guys do that night? You get back around 10:30ish, 10:45, I think you said.
Yes.
What happens that evening and the next morning?
So I was unloading. After we stopped and found out that the little boy went disappeared. We drove back, finished driving back to our house. And we went to...
Have you ever seen Michael prior to his abduction or anyone in their house?
No. And to my knowledge and what I know is that nobody else even knew who he was either. And to my knowledge and what I know is that nobody else even knew who he was either. So we ended up moving the car from our driveway over to Carson's driveway.
Y'all drove straight over to Brandon's, and that was his mother's house, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, did Brandon have anything with him?
He had his duffel bag full of clothes, but it was small. It wasn't even a huge duffel bag. It was tiny.
Like, what do you consider tiny? Like a book bag size, or big enough to fit?
Take like a small duffel bag, had the little strap on it, but not near big enough to put any a human in it at all.
Okay, so you're saying there's no way that he could have stuffed a small child in that bag. He just had dirty clothes in the bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what you're saying is did you pack a duffel bag too to go to CUDA?
No, Brandon had a bunch of dirty clothes because he brought his clothes initially from CUDA. Had some dirty clothes. I watched him grab because he stayed on the couch. Brandon always slept on the couch.
So watched him grab his duffel bag before we left. It was open, nothing in it, completely empty, and watched him put all of his dirty clothes inside the duffel bag and zip it up.
Okay.
And
So that night, the night the monkey went missing, there was a duffel bag.
Mhm.
How big was it? How big was the duffel bag?
It was small. I mean, it was not a giant duffel bag. This duffel bag that had like a shoulder strap on it and like the two little handles that Velcro, you could put the Velcro around it to hold the handles together. It's a small duffel bag. I mean, it was not big enough to put a body in.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. And I do not that even crossed my mind, but okay.
Correct.
So keep walking me through it.
So Sarah calls me about an hour or so later, says that there's a taxi ride that needs to go from Ontario to Boise. I was like, okay, I can do that. So I got ready and shoes and socks and everything like that, and got in a Lexus that we had, and about 1 o'clock it took off.
Okay. So that would have been roughly one in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
How long does that taxi ride take?
It takes about 60 minutes to get from Fruitland to Boise.
So you're back roughly by 3:30ish?
No, I hung out in Boise with Labor Dave. I went and stopped at his house for probably, I would say, 20 or 30 minutes maybe.
And let's just say that he's out, playing by himself. Let's say, I don't, riding his bike, walking around or whatever. Who recognized, I can't say recognized, who saw the child? Who said there's a child?
As far as I know, it was just me because as far as I'm concerned, it was only me. There was after I shut the hood, he was still out and about. So I take that back. No, Sarah did see him, so did Brandon, but we never thought anything different of it, and it was not Michael. Like I keep saying,
But when you were putting the power steering fluid in, that was at Southwest 8th in Arizona.
Correct.
Did the child approach the truck? Because you're working at the truck, and some kids get really curious.
No, not at all.
Was he standing or sitting?
Oh, he was playing with his he was playing with something, but it wasn't. I'm sorry. I'm trying to recollect as best as I can for you guys. There was nothing. I think I want to say he was standing.
Okay. Was he in the street?
No, it was by houses.
Okay. But it's a safe neighborhood, right? So you're not worried.
Exactly. That's why I never thought second about it.
So he was by a house. Do you know the color of the house?
No, I didn't pay attention to that. Again, there was nothing. It was. I'm sorry. I don't have any more. Thank you. But nothing was. Nothing was unusual about it at all. He was just doing his own thing.
Well, I wouldn't think so. Kids play outside. How far away from the street was he?
I was on the sidewalk.
Oh, he was on the sidewalk. Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't even in the street.
But he was by a house. Was it like
a whole stretch of houses?
At Southwest 8th in Arizona? Okay. About how many houses down did you see him?
I could see him in the distance. You know what I mean? Like there was I could see the face, but I don't. There was probably 5, 6, 7 houses down.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry if it seems like I'm inaccurate with information. I'm trying to recall it.
Well, like you said. Okay. Well,
I'm sorry if it seems like I'm inaccurate.
You want to clear your name, and you want to get all of this behind you. So the only way is just, it could be the smallest detail. Here's the map.
Yep.
Now, about where were you? You can see on family home loans. You can see where you used to live.
Yep. So the bottom left corner, you see where the green patch is?
Yes, I've got the last one.
Okay, so you see that road? That's right on top of the green patch?
Mm-hmm.
That's 8th Street. Now, the corner of that, the top right corner before the road, that is Arizona Street. We were parked on the corner of Arizona and 8th. He was probably continued down the road. He was at least probably, like I said, 5, 6, maybe 7 houses down on the right, on the right hand side of the sidewalk.
Okay. Oh, I think I have an idea now. Okay, I see. I see. Okay. So it was Southwest and 8th in Arizona, not 9th Street. Again, I'm not from the neighborhood.
So, okay, take that top right corner, right, where 8th Street in Arizona is, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you took a right and drove like you're going towards the bottom of that green pasture, okay, that road that's right before the second, you see that brown area right behind all those houses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not the far one, not behind where it says Vaughn's family home, but downwards, that patch right there. So that street, you can see the little street right there in between the houses and the other houses, right? You see that?
I do.
So that's 9th Street.
Okay. Go ahead, continue.
So he wasn't even on 9th Street at all. He was off 8th Street.
Okay, I'm looking on Google Maps, and the next street is Washington.
No. You're looking at the wrong road.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's what I get for trying to help.
No, you're looking at the road in the middle, correct? That's the Washington Street is the one where when you pull into the subdivision, that's where you're looking at, correct?
So when you're pulling into the subdivision.
And that first road on the left should be Washington.
Okay.
Take a left on Washington, and that first road on the right-hand side is 9th Street. But you pull off of I-95 and stay straight on south of 8th Street, that will take you on that straight stretch.
Okay, so when you saw the child and you were putting in the power steering fluid, this was at Southwest 8th in Arizona.
Correct.
Okay.
I stopped at the splash pad because my can of chew had fallen on the passenger side of the seat, and I couldn't pull off to the side of the road because there was no room to really park. It was right before the stop sign, and you aren't supposed to park by the stop sign or anywhere near it because you're not supposed to by law. So I pulled off to the splash pad for 2 seconds, and I tried reaching over the seat to grab it, but it was on the far side of the floorboard. I don't know if you know what I mean, but it was literally on the far side of the floorboard, and I couldn't reach it. So I got out of the vehicle to go grab it, the can of chew, and I grabbed it, and then I went back in the car and drove off. That was literally all that had happened that day. Or that time I parked at the splash pad. I didn't even get out to talk to anybody or anything. I literally got out to grab my can of chew.
It's been 2 months since Stacey Wondra was released from federal custody, convicted of a gun crime, unrelated to the disappearance of little Michael Vaughn. And what have you been doing since?
I've been trying to live my life the best way I can.
Stacey agreed to interview with me to, quote, clear his name.
I have no reason to hide anything from anybody. I'm not that type of person. I'm an open book. You can ask me anything, and I will tell you an honest answer to it.
Were you involved in the disappearance of Michael Vaughn?
No.
Why do police think you were?
I have no idea.
Stacey thinks law enforcement's case may hinge on Adrian Lucien, one of the men living with Stacey and his wife at the time Michael disappeared. One of the men police are calling a suspect. Any clues or evidence I could point to that from your knowledge?
No. I would never have thought Sarah, Brendan, or Adrian would. Maybe Adrian, but I wouldn't have thought Sarah or Brendan would have ever done something like this. I was not even home at the night of the disappearance. I know that at that nighttime, Sarah, Brandon, and I had left Cuna to go recover his tow's vehicle.
Elaborate on that day a little bit more. You said you were working?
Yeah, so I did a taxi ride from Ontario to Boise. I know that I was gone a good portion of the day from like 1 p.m. in the afternoon to like about 4. Spent some time with a former coworker or boss that I used to work for. I think I spent maybe an hour, hour and a half, and then had come back home. And the neighborhood was completely solitude. It was quiet.
You did say that they recovered several pieces of evidence at your home and on your property. Do you know what those pieces of evidence were?
Well, it's news to me.
The day after our interview,
He was playing with something.
Stacey gave a YouTuber a new piece of information.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to recollect as best as I can for you.
He, Brandon, and Sarah pulled over to put power steering fluid in his car right after they left for Cuna the day Michael was abducted. He says they saw a child playing by himself on the sidewalk down the street around the corner from the Vaughn's home.
Some kid that I saw did not depict Michael. I mean, he wasn't like a little kid. You know what I mean? Like he was. That's why I said it didn't concern me at all that he was out and about doing his thing.
Stacey says he doesn't know what's in the probable cause affidavit police sent to prosecutors. The one police say centers around him, Sarah, Adrian, and Brandon. Do you think police have anything on you or your wife?
I personally know for a fact they don't have anything against me or on me. I have no knowledge. I wasn't in a home. I have no knowledge of who this little boy is, his whereabouts, or anything about him.
In his interview with the YouTuber, Stacey said his attorney told him he's no longer a person of interest in Michael's abduction. Chief Huff tells me that's not true.
If there's anything you could say to the family of Michael Vaughn, what would you say?
I would say that I'm extremely sorry that your little boy was abducted, and I would want them to know that my heart is 100% with them. I also want them to know that if I ever were to come in contact with a person, if this person was found that did this, they would be in a very, very, very huge world of hurt. And that comes from the bottom of my heart. I'm sorry, Brandy, and I'm sorry, Tyler, for everything that you're going through. And I wish, and I pray every day, and I cry nightly that this little boy comes home.
Are you upset that they put your picture up as a suspect?
I'm very upset because I didn't have anything to do with it. They have literally gotten backwards with things. I know for a fact I would never do something like this, ever. It's okay. I forgive you guys. I just want people to know, like, I'm an honest person. I'm an open book. I don't have a reason to sit there and feed people a line of bullshit. As you guys know, I've been very consistent with, information that I have for you guys.
I'm not worried. I don't care what your feeling or opinion is, okay? I'm not worried because I didn't do it. I don't give a fuck. I'm not worried.
Do you think they're going to charge you?
I don't know what to think. I hope not. I didn't do anything. They don't have evidence. Like, I don't know where they think they're going to, but like I said, I've already got my lawyer on standby who's already ready, like, for if anything happens. I'm prepared. Like, they're in for a fight if they're going to try to charge me. I can tell you that. Like, I'm going to take it straight to the box, and they're going to lose. I'm going to make them look like a bunch of bitches, to be honest.
The FBI and ISP and
Oh yeah, they're in for a nice little treat. They don't got shit on me. I can tell everybody that they have nothing on me, and what little shit they think they have on me is not sufficient evidence. And even if they do, they said that they apparently have evidence of him being in the house. Well, I'm pretty sure that kid's never been in a house a day in his life, so I don't know where they even come up with that.
So what scares you the most about this whole situation? Because
the fact that this little boy hasn't come home to his family.
Because I think you're scared. Are these people threatening you?
I'm not scared at all. I'm scared for this little boy and his family. I have been threatened, yes. I've been...
Who threatened you?
Nobody, just people in the public.
Well, don't worry about them. I'm talking like people that were once in your circle that turned on you.
Oh, no, never been threatened by them. I don't have association.
Did anything on July 27th scare you?
Not at all. I was scared for that little boy when he went missing. Absolutely.
When did you find out Michael went missing? Do you know what time he went missing?
No, I just know that the neighborhood was completely dead and empty, or dead and quiet when we left, and when we came back 4 or 5 hours later, it was swarmed with people all over.
Okay, Butch, I'm not going through anything, okay? Is this a hard road? Yes. But I'm not worried about it because in the long run, I'm not scared. At all.
Cool. Thanks for the opinion, homie. Don't care.
Where's the empathy at, bud? Where's the empathy at, buddy? Buddy?
I have lots of empathy. I care more about this case than a lot of you really realize. So you guys should all check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Are you hollering at me and being mean to me? Oh, shit. Is your heart black because you have no empathy for anything?
You talking to me?
These are not my questions. Yeah. Is your heart black because you have no empathy for anything?
Hey, like I said, I have more empathy for situations you guys realize. Again, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
When an individual lacks empathy, they might come across as cold, indifferent, or even cruel towards others. Their actions may not consider the impact on others, and they may show no remorse for causing harm. Additionally, they could struggle to express their own emotions or resort to manipulation for personal benefit.
Sunlight comes creeping in, illuminates our skin. We watch the day go by, stories of what we did. They made me think of you, they made me think of you. Under a trillion stars, we danced on top of cars, took pictures of the stage, so far from where we are. They made me think of you, they made me think of you.
You can't take one of our most precious citizens from us and ever expect us to stop. You can't.
It ain't easy trying to juggle all these feelings. Everybody around you needing something every second of the day. With no time left for nothing but cleaning up another mess. Feeling that heaviness in your chest, like you're gonna break. Do what you gotta do to take a breath and find a win. Give yourself some grace, you're still the queen you've always been. Hey mama, you got this. I promise you got this. Pull yourself together. It won't be this hard forever. You've got the strength of a hurricane. You're a fighter in every way. Hey mama, you got this. I promise you got this. On your worst days, you're the reason it all works in the first place. Lunchbox, bus stop, rat race, getting dinner ready on time. I know it feels like you have lost yourself along the way, but look around, you should be proud of everything you've made. Hey mama, you've got this. I promise you got this. Pull yourself together. It won't be this hard forever. You've got the strength of a hurricane. You're a fighter in every way. Hey mama, you got this. I promise you got this. You're beautiful. You got what it takes. I see you. It's gonna be okay. Mama, you got this. I promise you got this. Pull yourself together. It won't be this hard forever. You've got the strength of a hurricane. You're a fighter in every way. Hey mama, you got this. I promise you got this. Oh, we got this.
You can't take one of our most precious citizens from us and ever expect us to stop. You can't